Ladies and gentlemen, when you've put in the work, put in the hours, given everything to your life and goals, sometimes the best thing you can do is step back. Life isn't always about being present in every moment or trying to control every narrative. There's a powerful energy in allowing yourself to fade from the front line so that your absence speaks for itself. It's like a great actor who leaves the stage, yet the impact of their performance lingers in the air long after they're gone. That's the energy you want to bring to your life, one where people feel your presence even when you're not around. Absence can magnify appreciation, allowing others to recognize your unique value. When you step back from people or situations, it's often like pulling away a powerful light that's been illuminating the room. The world doesn't realize how bright it was until that light is no longer there. Your absence creates a contrast, a quietness that fills the space you once occupied. In that silence, people begin to notice what they had, to see the efforts, the contributions, and the energy that might have gone unnoticed when you were always around. This isn't about playing a game or manipulating others' emotions. It's about giving people the time and distance to understand what your presence brought into their lives. Imagine someone close to you, someone whose support or influence has always been in the background. Often, when that person steps away, you start to see the gaps they filled, the comfort they provided, and the value they added. The absence reveals what you couldn't fully see while they were there. The same is true for you. Sometimes stepping back is the only way for people to truly see your worth. It's a way to silently communicate that your presence isn't a constant they can take for granted. By withdrawing, you allow others to experience life without the assurance of you always being there, and this shift in perspective is where true appreciation begins. But remember, this isn't a simple pause. It's a time for you to grow, to enrich yourself, so when people finally see you again, they're met with someone even more remarkable. Your absence isn't just a reminder of your past contributions, it's a preparation for the future ones. Letting people miss you is about demonstrating that your worth isn't confined to your presence. It's an unseen quality that lingers even when you're not around. People start to value the moments they once shared with you, realizing that what you brought into their lives was rare and meaningful. In your absence, you're giving them the chance to feel the impact of who you are, allowing your worth to speak louder in silence than it ever could in words. And when you return, you're coming back as someone whose value is now recognized and cherished on a much deeper level. Use solitude to grow. People will be drawn to the strength you've built in the shadows. Solitude can be a powerful catalyst for growth and transformation. When you step back and embrace time alone, it's a rare chance to work on yourself without the noise of expectations, distractions, or the need to perform. It's in this space of solitude that you discover your own inner resources, strengths, and areas that need work. You're no longer in the spotlight, so you're free to focus on the raw, unfiltered version of who you are and who you want to become. When you choose solitude, you're giving yourself permission to evolve, to push your own boundaries. You're building the foundation of a person who doesn't rely on external validation or the opinions of others to feel complete. This isn't easy. Spending time alone can reveal things about yourself that you might not like or understand. But it's also in this process of reflection and introspection that you find your true strengths and values. You learn resilience in silence. You learn self-respect when no one's watching, and you learn what it means to stand on your own. In solitude, you can identify what truly drives you, what matters most, and how you want to contribute to the world when you re-emerge. By cultivating discipline, patience, and wisdom alone, you become someone who stands out without needing to shout. People are naturally drawn to someone who has that quiet confidence, that unmistakable strength that comes from within. They feel the stability you carry, the grounded nature that only comes from knowing yourself deeply. When you do return, people will notice the shift. They'll sense the growth, the confidence, the refinement. You'll have a presence that doesn't need to prove itself. It simply exists as a testament to the time you spent building something real in the shadows. By embracing solitude, you're not only enhancing your life, you're creating a version of yourself that others will respect, admire, and aspire to be around. And that version of you, strengthened by solitude, is one that can't be easily forgotten. Silence speaks loudly, letting people wonder and appreciate your impact more. Silence is often underestimated, but it has a power that words cannot always capture. When you refrain from constantly explaining yourself, justifying your actions, or trying to be understood, you create a mystery around your intentions in your life. Silence allows you to be in control of your narrative, not by what you say, but by what you choose not to say. You let people fill in the blanks, to consider and reflect on the moments you shared. This space allows them to see you from a new perspective, making them realize how much your presence mattered. Imagine conversations where you don't jump in to defend or clarify. Instead, you let your actions speak for themselves. People are left to think, to wonder, and in that silence, their appreciation of you often deepens. When they can't hear from you directly, they start to recall all the ways you've influenced them, all the positive impacts you've made. The quietness acts as a magnifier, highlighting every moment where you were there to uplift, to help, to listen. Without constant reminders, people gain a fresh understanding of what it means to have you in their lives. Silence also has the effect of building respect. When you aren't always available to explain or validate yourself, people learn to respect you not just for what you say, but for the values and principles you stand for. You become someone who doesn't need to prove their worth in every conversation, every interaction. In fact, it's your absence of noise that makes people lean in, listen closer, and reflect on who you are. Silence becomes a statement in itself, one that conveys self-assurance and strength. This approach can surprise people. They're not used to it, and in that unfamiliarity, they find themselves thinking more deeply about who you are. Silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their own thoughts and memories of you, making them realize that they miss the steadiness and reliability you bring. By letting silence do the talking, you give people the space to truly appreciate your value. And when you do speak, they'll listen more intently, understanding that your words carry weight, that you're someone worth hearing. In silence, your impact doesn't fade, it grows, becoming a quiet yet powerful force that lingers in their minds. Stepping away earns you respect by showing that your presence is not to be taken for granted. When you're constantly available, always showing up, and readily accessible, people can start to forget the value you bring. It's human nature to overlook what's always there. But when you take a step back, you create an opportunity for people to realize that your presence is something special, something that isn't guaranteed or permanent. This absence serves as a powerful reminder that you are not simply a fixture in their lives, you are a person of value, someone who chooses to show up out of commitment, not out of obligation. Respect is built not just by what you do, but by how you present yourself to the world. When you remove yourself from the everyday noise, people begin to understand that you aren't someone who's just there to fill in the background. You're there because you have something to offer, something meaningful, something they can't find just anywhere. And when you leave, even if only for a while, it makes them realize that what you bring isn't something that's easily replaced. They see that your presence added a unique quality to their lives, and with that absence comes a newfound respect for the role you play. This respect is about understanding that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. By stepping back, you're demonstrating self-worth, a quiet assertion that you are not to be taken lightly. People learn that you're not simply a constant in their lives, but a choice, someone who chooses to invest, to support, to contribute. In stepping away, you give them the chance to see what life is like without you, and often that's when they start to fully appreciate the impact you made. This isn't about punishing anyone or holding back as a form of manipulation. It's about showing that you respect yourself enough not to be taken for granted, that you understand your worth and are willing to stand by it. This kind of respect doesn't just happen, it's earned by allowing others to see that you're not just another person in their world, you are a unique and irreplaceable presence. And when you return, they'll treat you differently, with a deeper appreciation, knowing that having you around is something to be valued and not something to assume. Absence can renew appreciation, letting people experience what life is like without your presence. When you're constantly present, it's easy for people to grow used to what you bring to their lives. They come to expect it, to see it as a constant. But when you step back, even for a short time, you create a pause, a gap that lets them realize the space you once filled. In that quietness, they begin to feel the absence of your unique qualities, the little things that might have once gone unnoticed. This space allows people to see all the ways you enriched their lives. Maybe it's the support you provided, the understanding you offered, or simply the energy you brought into the room. Often, people only understand the value of these qualities once they're no longer there. They begin to notice how things have changed, how certain moments feel different, and in that contrast, their appreciation for you starts to grow. They see that what you brought wasn't something they can find just anywhere. It was specific to you, and without it, there's a noticeable difference. By taking a step back, you're giving others the opportunity to reflect and to value you in a way that isn't possible when you're always around. They begin to realize that your presence added something rare, something that brought balance, joy, or comfort. They start to understand that what you gave wasn't just a passing contribution, it was a meaningful addition to their lives. This renewed appreciation can transform relationships. When you eventually return, people see you with fresh eyes, with a newfound respect and gratitude. They recognize that your presence is something that adds real value, something they don't want to take for granted. Absence doesn't mean leaving people behind, it means giving them the time and space to recognize what you brought all along. It allows them to understand that your presence is a privilege, not a given, and that kind of appreciation can only deepen the connection you share. Mystery and distance can create an aura that draws people in, making them view you with a new level of admiration and respect. When you aren't always available, when you don't reveal every thought or feeling, you leave room for curiosity to grow. People start to wonder about the things you haven't shared, the parts of you they haven't seen. This mystery isn't about hiding who you are, but allowing parts of yourself to remain unknown, creating a dynamic that makes others want to know more. When you put some distance between yourself and others, it challenges the assumption that you'll always be there at a moment's notice. This space can spark admiration as people begin to realize that you are a person of value and substance, someone with their own path and priorities. Mystery has a way of making people appreciate the moments you do share, the glimpses into your life that you offer. It highlights the depth and layers of who you are and reminds others that you're not defined by just one role or one interaction. You're multifaceted, someone with experiences, goals, and thoughts that go beyond the surface. This distance also emphasizes your independence. People come to see that you're not someone who needs constant validation or who clings to the familiar. You are someone who respects yourself enough to maintain boundaries, who isn't afraid to be alone, and who values their own company. In that distance, you cultivate a strength and confidence that others can feel. It's magnetic because it's rare. Most people are so eager to be seen and known that they don't realize the power in holding back and letting admiration grow from a place of curiosity rather than constant presence. When you reappear, you're met with a renewed respect. The mystery you created has allowed people to recognize that you're not just anyone, you're someone worth knowing, someone worth admiring, someone with a story and purpose that's uniquely your own. This isn't about playing hard to get or creating artificial distance. It's about honoring yourself enough to let others see you as the valuable, intriguing individual you are. Mystery and distance invite admiration by showing that your time, attention, and presence are treasures, not guarantees, and that realization leaves a lasting impression. Return only when you're truly ready, bringing with you a renewed energy and purpose that will remind others why they missed you. Stepping back isn't about simply creating absence, it's about taking time to grow, to rejuvenate, to become a better version of yourself. When you've taken the time to recharge, refocus, and deepen your understanding of who you are and what you stand for, your return becomes a powerful statement. It's not just a reappearance, it's a reintroduction, a chance to bring a fresh, refined energy that others can feel instantly. When you come back after truly investing in yourself, people notice the difference. They see someone who has evolved, someone who has taken the time to find clarity and purpose. Your renewed energy will shine through in the way you carry yourself, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, and in the way you interact. There's a quiet confidence in knowing that you've done the work, that you've taken the time to return as a stronger, wiser, and more focused individual. This recharged version of you commands respect, reminding people of the unique impact you have on their lives. Returning with purpose also sends a message that your presence is not something given lightly. It shows that you value not only your own growth, but the quality of the connections you maintain. People feel that your presence isn't just a habit or convenience, it's a conscious choice, one that you make because you are ready to contribute meaningfully. This renewed purpose can be inspiring to others. They see that you are driven by something deeper, and that level of commitment motivates them to grow in their own lives as well. Your return should feel like a breath of fresh air, a reminder of the positivity, strength, and inspiration that you bring into their lives. By reappearing only when ready, you demonstrate that you're not just someone who fades in and out without intention. You are someone who values their own development and who respects the significance of every encounter. This approach deepens admiration as people recognize that your presence is rooted in purpose, growth, and a genuine commitment to show up as your best self. When you return with renewed energy, it not only reminds others why they missed you, but it also sets the stage for a connection that's stronger and more meaningful than ever.